Okay.
Prepare the live stream. This meeting is being live streamed. Got it. Oh, I should probably record this too.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot to do that.
Yeah, we're gonna do our meditation. What did I do with my? That's right here. Soon I'm gonna have to buy a new. Not for a while though. There are a few more sessions. Here. Okay, we're gonna do a meditation prayer thing.
You might need to keep checking this feed every once in a while to make sure everything's still going.
Yep. Okay, I'm just gonna sit here. Okay, so here we are on January 3rd, 2022. And I'm going to do a prayer and meditation. So first I'm gonna breathe in 3 times, breathe in and out 3 times, and try and let go of all the tension from the day. So now I'm gonna say a prayer and then I'm gonna do meditation. So I'm gonna ask the Creator to direct our efforts as we are painting collaboratively so that we could be of service to humanity through this time that we're in. And I just ask for great blessings to come to us from the Creator and help us to bear our burdens and help us to remember to be grateful for these opportunities that we have. And just ask for direction in what we're doing together as we collaboratively paint and discuss things that come up that we're interested in regarding natural law and what's going on. That we can be helpful to anyone tuning in. And also that if there's something we're supposed to be doing, that we be intuitively guided to do that. And help us to come into alignment with you for the highest good of all concerned. And so it is. And so now I'm going to do a meditation, a guided meditation where we go to maybe get a message personally from our higher self to help us individually and to inspire the painting also. So imagine yourself sitting in a beautiful place where you feel at peace. And then you look up and you see that there's a building of some kind nearby, and you feel the urge to go investigate it. You walk over to the building and there's a door, and you open the door and you go inside the building and you see a glass elevator. And you feel the urge to go inside the glass elevator, so you go in there. And you sit down on a nice, comfortable seat. Elevator door closes and the elevator goes down a floor, 2 floors down. And then it stops and you look around through the glass elevator and you see the roots of the trees from the place that you were in before, and the roots of the grasses and maybe the foundation of the building. Then the elevator goes down another floor. And in this floor you see trees as if they had been in an ice storm with all their leaves covered with ice. Underneath somehow. Then the elevator goes down another floor and you see trees with leaves that are brown, ready to fall in winter. The glass elevator goes down another floor and you're under the ocean, you notice. And you can see the fish under the water. You can see sea creatures coming towards the glass elevator to look at you. And then the elevator goes down another floor and you see that you're in a cave. You can get out of the elevator now and go into the cave. Somehow in the cave you either see someone or you receive a message in some other way. That's my experience. Having received the message, whether it is silent or whether it was, however it was delivered, even if you don't know what it is right now, you get up and go back into the elevator. The elevator door closes and you start going up. The first floor that you see is the ocean floor. You see the sea creatures looking at you. Then you go up another floor to the trees with the leaves that are brown. You go up another floor and see the leaves on the trees that have ice on them. Then you go up another floor and you see the roots of the trees from the place that you were sitting in before you started this journey. You go up another floor and you're back in the beautiful place. You see your art materials that you're about to use to paint, and again, we're going to ask the Creator to bless our materials so that we can channel the Creator's energy into the work that we're going to do. And then take a deep breath, because you're ready now to do some creative healing artwork that's inspired. So open your eyes and let's start.
Oh, it feels so good.
I know.
That's really good.
All right.
Yep. Everything's good. I was just double checking after last week. We had so many issues with that. So we'll make sure everything's rolling according to plans. So far, it looks so good. That's good.
Oh, I bet you. Wait.
So I saw there's like a cool thing I saw. It was like had the hermetic principles, but then it was like had them.
You saw it in the meditation?
No, it was an image I saw. I can't remember, online or something. And it was. I can find it. It had like the hermetic principles lined up with like the chakras.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Like mentalism was like the crown chakra.
Wow.
And so it kind of made sense how they went together.
Wow,
That makes sense.
that's neat. That would make sense, actually, if gender's the last one, it ends up in the root chakra.
I think that gender maybe was the last one that ended up in the root chakra.
That makes perfect sense.
Hmm.
Wow. Pretty neat. I'm gonna jump in, okay?
Go ahead.
Somewhere, I don't know where. I say I'm gonna jump in, but I don't know where. Okay. Yeah, the pink situation, there's a lot of pink in here,
Yeah.
and I just made more pink.
Yeah, I did a lot of pink last week, I remember. Just looking at
I
that.
think I need more red.
Oh, well, I won't worry about that right now. Go back.
So tell me more about these pyramids, the pyramid thing, 'cause I remember reading about this.
Yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff. I don't remember all this a while ago that I was listening to those podcasts or whatever. And so I don't remember a lot of it, but yeah, it's
You think you could just make one out of string? Do you think it's just the idea of the pyramid?
I don't really think the material matters as long as there's certain materials that you're not supposed to mix together when you're doing it. Like metal. Like if you're making a wooden pyramid, you're not supposed to put metal in it. Metal, I guess it's like the main thing is metal. When you mix metal with other materials, it messes stuff up.
Well, that makes sense, though. I mean, 'cause
So if you're gonna use metal at all, it has to be the whole thing has to be metal.
yeah, that does make sense.
And I'm not sure if you need if it has to all be the same metal or not. I can't remember that.
Well, I mean, metal.
But apparently the word pyramid itself means fire in the middle. And so that implies that there's some sort of like power or like charge that comes from being in the middle of a pyramid.
Oh yeah, pyra. Interesting.
And then middle.
Wow.
And then there's this other, I can't remember the guy's name, but there's these pyramids they found, they're kind of like underneath. At first they thought they were just mountains or like hills, but they're actually pyramids underneath, like, looks like they got covered up a little bit. I think there's like 3 of them, and they're in Bosnia. And they're all these people were coming and helping excavate and volunteering. And all these volunteers kept like they'd come and they'd have like some like chronic illness that would get cured when they were working in these Bosnian pyramids.
Really?
And so they were like, what the heck? And so they're like, oh, like, we need to like study these more and stuff. And most of the ones that you find around Earth are like stone, or they're made out of dirt or stone, or you don't find a bunch of metal inside of them and stuff. So,
Well, I mean, wasn't Tutankhamun's sarcophagus inside the pyramid filled with gold? Am I wrong?
I'm not denying that, no. But
I don't know.
that might have been, they may not even have known then what the pyramid's purpose was for at that time, because there's a lot of stuff coming out that's like the people that the history book says are attributed to building the pyramids didn't actually build the pyramids, and probably didn't even understand what they were for. And so I heard that's why some of them were like turned into tombs, because they were like the pharaohs, or they were in power, and they had these big things that they kind of took over and claimed as their own. Because like there's this Jonathan Anthony West did all this research on the Sphinx, and how like it has all this like erosion and water damage to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that they're like, he's basically like, based off of what he knows, so I think he was actually a geologist, he was basically like, the only way you could have this type of erosion is with like thousands and thousands of years of constant like rainfall. And according to the historians, it's like that pyramids or the Sphinx is only like a couple about 5,000 years old or something.
No,
like that.
baloney. That's
And like, but like, he's like, that's impossible because this type of erosion couldn't have occurred in that time frame.
Did they just cover that up? Because they can find out how old it is, right? Don't they have the ability to find out how old it is? They just covered it up.
Well, there was like a viral video where Graham Hancock was like arguing with this pyramid, one of the like Egyptian, I can't remember what they call them, I don't know, the head of like something or other in Egypt. And Graham Hancock was arguing with him about it being older. And yeah, it was like this viral video, like maybe in 2015. Graham Hancock basically puts the dude in his place, it's like, and the dude like kind of wasn't able to recover from what Graham was proposing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, the lie. There's some lie.
and so like it was like, because Graham was challenging these dates and like their what they have as the accepted dates and all this, and that guy was like upset about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wonder sometimes, like, why do they want to cover all this stuff up? Because they want us to believe that we came from Adam and Eve. Give me a break. Like, sure.
I don't know if
Okay.
this is true or not, but I heard like this one show, I think it was like that, like tinfoil hat or something, I think the show's called. And they were talking about like how like, ISIS was actually going around and destroying ancient sites over in the Middle East area, because they believe that these sites hold secrets, to the past that they don't want unveiled, or discovered. And so they're going around destroying allegedly these sites so that they couldn't.
Oh, ISIS, meaning the group.
Yeah.
ISIS, not the goddess.
Yeah, the group in modern day.
The CIA invented group,
Mhm.
ISIS.
That's what allegedly this was claiming through this tinfoil hat. I can't remember the episode of the researchers. We were listening to it. I was actually with my cousin we were coming back from skiing and he had some, he's like, do you mind if I play this podcast? I was like, sure. We talked about that. So I thought it was just kind of interesting. That
Very
could be a
interesting.
thing that was going down, you know, that they were actually destroying some of this, trying to occult some of this ancient stuff.
The CIA dressed up as some Egyptian ISIS people. I don't know. I mean, whatever. Who knows? Maybe. Maybe so. I mean, my interest in it, I guess, is, you know, how to access power so that,
Mhm.
you know, the good guys can win the bad fight that's going on right now.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah, for sure.
So the idea of, like, you know, increasing the power of meditation and prayer here in Colorado, where we're at the 104th ley line, so our power is bigger than regular places,
Right.
as it is of great interest to me
For sure.
in fighting the battle against the crazy that's going on right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, so we're in a good spot to be doing that.
yeah, I mean, it's enticing.
The veil between the worlds is a slightly thinner, huh?
Well, I think this is just I don't know about the veil between the worlds, maybe, but more like it's a power grid spot
Mhm.
because it's on the 104th ley line, and so also what else is on that ley line is NORAD, Devil's Tower, Roswell, Cheyenne Mountain, Denver Airport. You know, they all know that. They all know about it. So, but we try to use it, make use of it as well.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a megaphone, I think. I look at it as a megaphone.
Mhm. I'll get my citrus off.
I have to get some more citrus oil. Really? Oh, in your mixing thing pot.
In my vessel, I actually have to get some too.
Oh, do you?
Because I've been hijacking my mom's.
Oh,
She
okay.
had just for her painting purposes.
Well, that's just
Yeah, so I've been always fascinated by pyramids. Another thing is, like, apparently that this is actually a scientific study they did too, was with like razor blades. There's like if you set the razor blade down a certain way within the pyramid, actually like keeps it sharp somehow. So I thought was kind of, and they actually did do a peer-reviewed study on that, apparently, that Greg Braden mentioned. And because like I think some people were asking him about pyramid power and stuff. And that's the only thing he gave up. He's like, well, there was a peer-reviewed study where they found that keeping razor blades in a pyramid can keep them sharp. So like even if you're using it, like you just put it back in the pyramid and it helps like
What?
keep it sharp. Yeah.
So you used it on rocks?
I don't know what they were using. Like I think they were just using men's like shaving razor blades.
Well, I mean, that you would
And you-
try to make it go dull and then it would just go sharp or something.
Yeah, it was just keeping these
Huh.
blades sharp for a really long time.
Hmm.
So
I just wonder about it because I remember reading about this where you could build a structure and it would simply it could be like what you said, either out of PVC pipe or something. Didn't matter what it was made of. It was just a matter of having that shape
mhm.
around you.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that shape
does
is
something.
important. Yeah, like even that. I want to call him Paul that wrote that book, Pyramid. I think it's called Pyramid Power.
I never heard of it.
And he claims, and he's the one that claims he has a cat that
Oh yeah, he's a vegetarian.
vegetarian and
Did it
Yes.
become a vegetarian because it was sleeping?
yeah.
Interesting.
And he also, I guess he has a pyramid belt built like over his bed, so that like when he goes to sleep, there's like a pyramid there. This guy allegedly says he's the reincarnation of Nikola Tesla too.
Oh, right.
Alleged. But his story is that he remembered everything, like after like he said he remembered that like when he was a baby and that like how it was going to be a while before he was going to be able to get back to work. He physically couldn't because he was a baby. He couldn't walk or do anything.
Who's this guy? I'll
I
have
feel
to
like
look
it's
it up.
Paul or something.
I can look it up. So
Yeah, you
he's
look
a
it up. It's
guy who says he's Nikola Tesla reincarnated.
well, there's more than one.
Pyramid. Oh, there's more than one of them?
Probably, I would say so, but like he yeah his I don't even know that. Some people say he was like the beginning of the New Age movement because that Pyramid Power book he wrote was like he wrote it like back in like the 60s or 70s or something.
Hmm.
And so some people attribute him as the like found like the kind of starter of the New Age movement.
No, I wonder if that. Oh, I can call. Is he? Well, it reminds me of what you're telling me. Sounds like people from who went to Pintorn.
Could be
Pintorn was back in the beginning,
mhm.
the 70s, early or late 60s or something.
I want to say the guy's name is Paul. I can't remember.
Yeah, there's a guy named. I mean, it makes me think of it, but I have to look it up because
He's like, I don't know. When I saw him, he was kind of old and he was like bald and
Did you see him on something?
yeah, he was on like a Regina Meredith show on that guy network.
Oh,
It was a show called Open Minds. And he does all this stuff with electricity. He says like, oh yeah, you can like, I guess he like electrocutes himself like daily. He calls it giving himself an electric bath. And he's like, he's basically like, yeah, I'm adverse to all disease because I take these electric baths daily and I sleep underneath a pyramid. And so,
well,
and then like I think she asked him too about like the frequency and like, is there like a certain frequency you're supposed to use and stuff like that? He's like, no, the frequency doesn't matter when you're doing the electric, just as long as it's not a high enough voltage to kill you.
oh my god.
So yeah,
That's
because he's
funny.
like, oh, these people think they need to find the magic, like, you know, electric voltage to like cure these things. And he's like, yeah, it doesn't matter as long as you don't, as long as it's not high enough to kill you. And he was also, because he's like knows a lot about like the cellular towers and stuff. He was the one that said that like, oh yeah, there's just like if you paint all the cell phone towers with this paint, then like it gets away. He has like some special paint that he made that like if you paint these cell phone towers with this paint, then it's no longer
It's poisonous.
as poisonous.
It's
Yeah.
gotta be the silver paint, but it's so expensive because it's got silver paint, silver in it.
Yeah, and so like
Something, and they
he's
don't want to do it.
yeah, he's like it's a simple fix. You just paint all the things with this paint. It's not that big a deal.
But it's like-
According to him, it isn't that big a deal, but
yeah, we'll see.
because if he's the reincarnation of Tesla, Tesla is like was one of the godfathers of like wireless
Oh, yeah.
power and radio.
Yeah, but they don't, I don't think they might want it to be dangerous.
Oh, what's the deal?
I mean, I don't, it's so funny, somebody said on one of the Telegram channels, what they were saying, oh, we just have to focus on getting them to stop the spraying, and I'm like, do you know who you're talking about, getting them to stop? It's like, you're insane, like, that you can't just get these people to stop doing this, they're doing it for a reason. But, I mean, I'm not going to, try to convince someone who hasn't done the amount of research I've done to understand what's happening. I mean, come on. That's just silly.
What's funny?
It's just silly. I don't know. Someone actually wrote into my employer today and said that all we need to do is just get a mass group of people to blah, blah. And I'm like, good luck with that, getting a mass group of people to do anything, because everybody has a totally different point of view on on things and.
It's so fractured, it's insane.
Yeah, there's no way of getting a mass group of people. So, I mean, I'm just happy that there's a group of people that are willing to meet together and work together towards something. But to try to get them to agree, oh, forget it. I am not.
That's the tricky part,
You might have
because
to.
they agree on this topic, but then they don't agree on this
Yeah.
aspect of it.
Yeah. So we're just, I'm like, well, we just have to agree to disagree in order to get along, so we can, get on the lifeboat here. Get on the lifeboat and not fall into the shark infested water. But yeah, get them to agree. Good luck with that. Maybe someday down the road after we live together for a while and dig some ditches together, or I don't know what it would take, but I don't really care if we agree, honestly. All I care about is people
Being free.
being together. I mean, so the fires, yeah. Did you know that people have already proven that the fires were manufactured to do weapons and all this crap?
Really?
Yeah,
They're
that they
not-
were not
they're not.
natural fires at all. You know that?
I heard that there was skepticism that it was caused by the power line that broke and started the fire. That's all I heard.
Yeah,
I didn't
Excel said there was no power line. Of course, they would want to protect that. But yeah, no, I mean, it looks exactly the same as the Santa Rosa fire, where the trees were standing perfectly healthily next to a charred house. And it came out that the houses that burned down had smart meters and 5G towers nearby. And now the National Guard is there, and they're not letting even the people who live there come in to get their stuff out.
Mhm.
You have to hike
I
in.
think it was like some sort of directed energy weapon or
Yeah, in
something.
fact, a friend of mine said that she knows someone who was in South Boulder watching from a hill and saw, what would you call it? I would have to read the text, but it said something like, she said, the guy saw, energy lines coming down from the sky directed at where the fire was. Like fire.
I mean, there was wicked windy that day. I'm not saying that, arguing that point, but it was.
Well, that's what she said.
So that's probably why they used the busted power line scenario, because we had, even
100
where
mile
I,
an hour. Yeah, 100 mile an
where
hour.
I was, our power was flickering on and off all day that day. That was Thursday.
Oh yeah, it was super windy. Oh yeah, I know, because we were on our way someplace and suddenly there was like this brown cloud. When we got out of where we were, there was suddenly a brown cloud and we were like, what the hell is that? And we actually prayed.
This girl, I can't remember her name, but we won't say it anyways, with protection, privacy, but so we used to play softball with her. She lost her house. She posted a thing my wife said on Facebook. She said, well, I turned on I forgot what happened, but she's like, oh, there's my house burning.
And she wasn't home.
No,
Thank God.
no, she wasn't home.
Except
She's
for
at work or
animals.
something. Oh yeah. I feel so bad for all the pets that were lost during that thing. I mean, yeah, of course the news isn't mentioning that.
No, it's too horrible.
Yeah, so how many, everyone's at work, right? And how many dogs and cats were stuck in those floors? Oh,
Oh, it's terrible.
yeah, it was such a terrible thing to happen.
But yeah, now it's like, and I really, it shocked me. Like it shocked me when somebody said, "Oh, that was," they alluded to that it was like deep state or whatever. It just hit me so hard because I just didn't think of it. Even though I'm usually I think of that, but I didn't think of it, and it just hurt so bad to think that, because I was like, what? Are you serious? And now it's just everybody's talking about it and showing how, the grasses and the trees are still fine and the houses are charred.
I mean, there's definitely some charred trees. I saw in the news report.
Well, I mean, in that video, that it's the drone video flying over Louisville. I'm like, who lived in Louisville that they wanted to get rid of? Is there like a whistleblower in there or something? I can't wait to find out, like, what's the why Louisville particularly?
I don't know. It's there's a lot of houses there. It's kind of like I see it as kind of like some of the people. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't really know that much about that area, honestly, so I can't say.
No.
I lived near there. I lived in Boulder, but that was like, when was that? 2003 or something. That was almost 20 years ago. So, a lot's changed since then. Shaking this thing out.
Okay.
Yeah, but I just really feel bad for all the people that were dispersed in that. But yeah, this girl I used to play on the softball team with her lost her house.
Well, so far this is.
In fact, my sister's house was not far from there. She was just a little bit south of the burn area.
Oh, your sister used to live there?
She used to live in Westminster.
So
like right off 108th in Wadsworth, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not that far from there. 108. Well, I mean, I am, but I mean, that's where. Well, I know what you're talking about, like Wadsworth, like 287.
like kind of like where 104th turns into like Church Ranch Boulevard,
Yeah,
and then like
That
you
was-
go
that's part of the
by that
program.
lake. There's that big lake over there. Starts with an S. I can't remember what it's
I can't
called.
remember.
But yeah, she used to live over there. I don't know if that area actually got burned or not, but it was definitely close. So I think it was a little bit further north of that on the, because I think it didn't come, because there's that airport over there. I don't think.
Oh,
the
yeah, I know
airport-
what you're talking about, like, so over by,
They were south, my sister was south of the airport, and I think it was all, the fire was all north of the airport. So
no,
I think her house would have been safe. It has.
so really close to Greenfield then,
Uh-huh.
weird. Yeah, it's really weird, I mean,
Yeah, they were saying like above like 112 and west of Wadsworth.
Oh,
Like so, like a whole Costco like was in the fire and stuff.
oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if the Costco got burned down, but I know it was like being evacuated and stuff. My wife saw some video of it.
It's totally insane.
It's just-
Yeah.
Well, it's just, you know, it's the winter time, you know, we don't think about stuff like that happening in the winter. We're used to the state burning in the summer, not in the winter.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, remember when Casio, it's not the season of sacrifice, so what are they doing? Somebody said, oh, they're celebrating the end of the year, the beginning of the new year.
Oh, yeah, well, when's the season of sacrifice start again?
In the spring, it's like Beltane, so like April 19th through
Right,
May,
right.
something or other,
Mhm. So it's like pretty much
or
like
May,
right after Easter it starts.
something like that. So it's like they're way over there. They're getting sloppy, or they're doing so much more stuff now. They don't care if people know about it, whatever.
Mhm.
It's just so disturbing. But again, this is the kind of thing, you know, we don't have any, I don't see that we have control over this stuff at all. This is what, if they want to do with that stuff, they're gonna do it. But you know, we can,
But if we try to stay positive and if we can get enough people together that are meditating in a positive light, maybe that will help turn some of these people on.
well, right, exactly the point of like ways to increase our power. So hence the pyramid idea,
Yeah,
or whatever else.
That's a good one.
I have to think about that, like how I could do it. See, now I have a room in my house where I can do art, so I could put a pyramid in there. I think string, that's what I'm thinking.
I built
string.
a couple cardboard ones,
How'd you do it?
just with cardboard, and then I just had this tape, it's like this package tape. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
it's like paper with kind of string in it, and then like you wet it down, and then it sticks.
Oh, yeah,
After you wet it.
I remember that stuff, that's good. Childhood.
I did that because well, I built it at my job because we had tons of cardboard and there were some scraps, and I had it on the table that I was working on.
Oh, so it was a small one.
Yeah, it was a small one. It was like maybe 1.5 feet tall.
Wow. Huh.
I had this other, and this is kind of off topic, but maybe not, is a couple of years ago, my boss was moving and they had like a bunch of stuff like in the gallery and the studio and stuff where I was working. And they had this like massive like geode thing like this. It was like this big. And like if you stuck your head in it, like you got this weird like sensation.
Really?
Yeah. And so I'd stick my head in there sometimes.
What would
It wasn't
do?
a bad, it felt like really good. Like I was kind of like addicted to sticking my head in that thing.
A geode.
Yeah, it was like a geode, and it was like a big one, so you could like stick your head in it, and like you could feel this
Well,
like
that's
a
neat.
tingling.
That
So
makes
you
you
put
feel
your
like-
head in there.
We'll make it pyramid.
And so I was thinking maybe that was kind of similar to like the pyramid power kind of stuff.
Yeah, I bet it is. I'm definitely gonna look into this when I get home.
Nice.
Any way to like increase the power at this point, it's like
Yeah.
needed, you know?
Yeah, it's maybe one of those another one of those occulted sciences that we're just not, letting get out there. I know there's like a Seinfeld episode where they're making fun of like the pyramid, like Merkaba meditation.
They're making fun of it.
Yeah, like there's like George Costanza goes to something and like they're like, here, they put this like wire pyramid around his head. And he's like, what the heck is that? These people are crazy. Not the greatest reference, I suppose.
Well, I mean, I guess that's how they put some of that stuff out there, but I don't know.
That's how they put it down, at least.
Right, I just saw them do that the other day. What was it? Oh, well, yeah, that was a video about PMAs, but it was completely false, what they were saying about PMAs. It was incredible. I was like, wow, this is bad. They're basically saying, oh, yes, and then you set it up so you can pay your taxes, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's not a PMA then. But, they can't let that information out. And you can't really find much online about it. I just am trying to figure out how Keith came up with all this stuff. And I think it was based out of a book he read about on the Law of Nations, which I downloaded. It's 500 pages and it's written in like 1753 by some French dude. I'm like, wow, I got all of this, but I might end up taking that course. I'd have to pay for it. Maybe I would. Maybe I could pay crypto. I'm almost out of crypto now. And not that I can still get crypto because I have the account.
You've been getting it on that, what, the Steemit is that?
Well, yeah, well, it used to be Steemit, but now it's peaked. And all I do is I've been on there since 2016, so I've got a following. And I just post my artwork and different things. And it gets voted up. And then money just adds up over time.
That's cool.
And then what happens is in Hive dollars, and then I just I barely know how to do this, honestly. I basically power down, and then I send it to a market exchange. The guy has a peaked account, and then I can turn it into Bitcoin, go into the marketplace and turn it into Bitcoin, and put it in my crypto wallet. And then when Bitcoin goes up, it like triples the amount that it was. It fluctuates. Bitcoin's constantly fluctuating.
Yeah.
And then people will take it as a currency, and I'm just like, really? That's cool, because I didn't do much to get this. That post shit on. Yeah, my account right now is at $7,000, which in crypto.
Oh, wow.
Which is and over the years.
You need to still transfer it to Bitcoin.
Yes, it's in $5 right now. But that's fine. I just leave it there.
It might be more stable than Bitcoin anyways.
Well, it's just that I don't need to take it out for anything. I mean, I'm taking it out right now because I'm taking a little bit more out so that I can get the Law of Nations course, down the road when I'm done with the PMA course. Because I'm curious. I'm very curious. This guy knows a lot of interesting stuff that most people don't know. Like the idea of being able to use your latitude and longitude lines as an address, which is a secret that only the post office knows for foreign packages and stuff like that. That's how people in the army, that's how they find people,
I think I had to ship one like that one time.
right? And so, yeah, but you can actually use it. You can actually use that whole system as a way to have an alternate address for your own address that's not attached to you.
Yeah, this dude was like in the army, and he was bought like a print. The guy used to work for him. He had to send it to like the weird,
exactly.
Weird
So
address.
the fact that he knows that
It was a huge pain.
Pretty interesting, though. The usable. I mean, even the area code. Like I looked actually today. I was looking up an area code, and when I saw it on Wikipedia, it actually said the latitude and longitude line showed up based on the area code, and I was like, huh. Here's another piece of information that I never paid much attention to until this moment. So yeah, they definitely, that group of people definitely knows some interesting information that could help us in the long run kind of exit. There's so many people. I mean, but he's pretty smart. I'm not. I mean, I think he's smart because the way he does the classes are a little bit. He could learn how to teach a little bit better. Richard could help him with that. But he's doing good. He's got a lot of people interested right now.
That's good. Busy then, huh?
Well, I don't think he's as busy. I was pretty shocked, honestly. Like I thought, I told a bunch of people about him and about PMAs, and I thought they were just going to jump on it, and not one of them did.
Yeah.
I was pretty shocked. A lot of people, and I'm like, wow, this is a big part of the problem is people maybe they are afraid of something. They don't know all the information, and they just procrastinate instead of looking into it.
Or they're just like it's that they're just fake and they say they're interested and they really aren't. Or their ego.
Maybe it's weird though.
Or their ego gets in the way. They're like, PMA, what's that? Oh, that's not you just incorporate the normal way.
No, I'm telling you, these people took me aside, made me drive with them. Go in the car, talk about this, and I'm like, I'm not going to really tell you much about this because I don't know that much about it. You're going to have to make an appointment and talk to this other person who knows about it. And then I guess they didn't follow through, and I was just really surprised. I was like, this could really help you. But then it turned out this one guy told me, he said, I just don't trust anyone. I'm like, that's fine that you don't trust anyone, but you're gonna open up a bank account and trust the system right now that is caving in on itself over looking into something that really might be able to help you, even because it's new and you don't understand it. Which
it's weird how that
it's just so weird. It's just like people buying into this Omicron bullshit. It's like, oh my God, really? I can't believe they're using this Bill Gates word to describe influenza. Come on, people. Well, how is it that this lady actually wrote in and she's like, how is it that people are getting sick together? I'm like, come on, are you kidding me? People get sick together every year. Lord.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, it's not like this is new.
Right.
I mean, and it could be as much as if it's not a virus, let's say, and it's simply a bacteria or whatever, it can be that thing that, where I can't remember the name of it, where how birds fly together, like that, the 100th monkey thing, or
right, yeah.
For women who have their period, I'll get their period on the same.
Right.
It's because it's some kind of, I can't remember what they call that, but it could be that, or it could be environmental. It could be that, you have a 5G tower near your house and your body is flushing the toxins,
Or
using and the way that it does, and that's what's called a virus now. And then all those people are basically nearby, and it happens all at the same time because it's the time of year to have it happen.
or it's just like, like you said, birds of a feather flock together. And so if you're buying into the fear and then you're in fear, then you're more likely to get sick with something because of that. It's kind of that epigenetics, like you believe in it, therefore it's manifest.
Right, and you and your friends all believe in it together, so that makes it more powerful.
Exactly.
And you talk about it together, and then you get it because you're not aware. You're not like literally just a few minutes ago thought I felt something going on with me just now, and I'm like, no, I'm not getting. No, that's what I do. I go, no, not getting anything, and then it goes away, and I feel fine. For 5 years, this is how it's been. But I remember, like, I remember realizing that I would make a conscious decision to choose to be sick
Yeah,
because I wanted a vacation.
Toxicity too. Like I noticed, like when I started eating more organic foods and like less, junky stuff, I actually got sick less.
Oh yeah,
And that's
that too.
partly just an environmental thing. But I think part of it is your perception of your environment. It's like if your perception of your environment is that your environment is unhealthy and there's this invisible thing that could potentially make you sick and kill you, if you're believing that, then that kind of supporting that belief system, then you're less likely for it to be effective on you.
There's a lot of different variables like that. But yeah, I'm not going to call whatever people are having the Omicron variant. You can be guaranteed I will not be participating in that bullshit.
Yeah, it's just.
God, I'm like, really?
You're getting sick.
Wow, but it's freaking winter time. Maybe you went out without your hat.
Exactly.
Jeez. Take some freaking chicken soup and leave the ivermectin for the horse when deworming.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I
Eat
mean,
some. Why don't you go sit in the sun for a little bit, get some vitamin D, or just take some vitamin D tabs.
That's
on a daily basis, more than the recommended amount on what it says on the bottle.
It's just amazing to me. It just really is amazing to me. I mean, these are people on the freedom movement too. I'm just like, what? I mean, there's a lot of people here in our little group that believes in the COVID thing. I'm not one of them, but and they all run off to see Del Bigtree, and I'm just like, oh God, controlled opposition. But I'm not going to tell them how I feel about it because I'm going to try to just stay neutral about it, and they can think what they want, and because I don't want to fight with them. These are the people that are in action here, so they can think whatever they like. They want to believe this stuff, go ahead, because they would end up with the flu anyway. I guess they probably usually it's because they don't want to leave the house and they want an excuse to not leave the house.
Sweet. I'm in quarantine. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, whatever. Nice. Oh, I'll just work on this here.
I'm still working on that. Up on there.
Huh? Yeah, I'm doing this. Whatever this is.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, I'm not even paying attention to it. That's what I feel like is the best. Is what I don't pay attention to. Yeah, it's weird. But we are, I think we are starting community currency. That's good. That's part of the whole, what I'm hoping the PMA think. We're gonna do, there's the LET system on the online, or you can have it on your computer offline. We'll start with that, and then maybe, in a few years, people will realize we don't need any currency, but right now.
Mhm.
It took me a long time to understand the value, what the true value of green pieces of paper is. Nothing.
It's a belief system, right?
Yeah, but it took me a very long time to understand that. Very, very long time. So I can't think that just because I learned it, everybody else needs to have that same amount of time
Right.
to awaken to that.
Yeah, I like that. But that's been the thing I've thought about for a long time.
What is that?
The whole money and how it's just a belief system.
Well, but we do live in the system. We live in the system, so we do have.
Oh yeah. Well, we were born into the system.
We have to.
Raised in the system.
Well, but we're still in it, so we still have to
Yeah,
make a
yeah.
living somehow.
Right. I mean, even the challenging part though is even if you're like completely off grid, you still have to pay property taxes. So you're still in it.
Well, you don't though. You don't have to if you're PMA or if you're. I think you can put the property in some kind of trust or something. But I mean, I think they will fight you.
Yeah.
They're not gonna like it. But I'm definitely down for the fight. I'm thinking about selling or donating my property in Southern Colorado to the PMA.
Oh, wow.
Just to see what would happen. Oh, sorry, I don't owe you the $12. I don't know, we'll see. I may not want to bother with it because I can't abide dealing with them.
Mhm.
But it would be like a practice thing for. Them putting the house.
Mhm.
Because I mean, Kurt's way to deal with them is to simply ignore them, which may work. I don't know. But
It's small brush you can get all the paint off of it in small areas.
yeah, this is the size brush that I like to use now. This tiny little brush. I don't know why. This is the way it is now. And yeah.
Everything's still rolling.
Oh, good.
People are watching on me.
Well, I don't know. Well, something should come out of this. Who knows?
Oh yeah, well, we didn't tell them when we were doing this, so I'm not surprised this man the only one watching.
It's like the old days when the internet was new. We might have gotten watchers, but we're not there now. No, we'll figure it out.
No, but it's weird because like I was kind of tracking when we were still doing the Mystery School of Art website and everything.
Hmm.
And like when I would do something like out in the world to market the thing, results came in. And even when you did certain things, like I feel like some results came in.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, we got some random people that signed up, and I wasn't sure where they came from, and so I was like, well, that came from our marketing efforts, And but when we stopped doing kind of some of that stuff and stopped putting it out there, like all the like stuff just stopped coming in. People stopped opting in.
Well, I guess, if we're
There
gonna,
is something to that.
yeah, and I mean, I will do it again, like on Facebook, but I want to have a plan and I want it to be long range planned out. I don't want to
For
have.
sure, yeah.
I mean, I did write all those articles. I will copy them, but I want to write like 365 of them so that I don't run out,
Exactly.
because when I ran out, I just ran out and I didn't have any more ideas. So I would have to write a bunch and then I would have to continue writing them forever.
Yeah, or even just
Or I could recycle some of them, I guess.
taking like clips out of like these kind of things that we're recording and making smaller bite-sized pieces that people can ingest, and maybe that'll point them towards our website and the greater aspects of what we're trying to do here.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my thing, what I'm thinking.
I think back to Joel Goldsmith. He was like maybe a unity guy. I'm not really sure what he was considered, but he was a very spiritual guy, and he wrote a lot of books back in like the 20s and stuff. And he basically said, just hang your sign up outside your house. I'm just like, dude, you don't live in the century I live in.
Right. Well, it's kind of true. It's like, I felt like it's like if we could afford like a location, like in a place, and we had a sign up, people might walk in the door and be like, oh, what are you guys all about? Oh, you offer these classes? That's interesting.
Well, but I mean, but I was
Cool.
just trying to look at it like from the point of view of the internet. Like, you can't just put up a website now and expect people to
No.
walk in.
But it's been like that for a long time. People aren't just going to stumble accidentally upon your website. You have to have something. Like, oh, go here. People will go there.
Right, but usually
if you have something attractive enough, and that's what they're calling the lead magnet. You have attractive enough lead magnet to get people there to click through your stuff and get trust you enough to give up their email, then that's big.
Right. But I don't think people, it would have to be like in a smaller town, like maybe your town, because in Denver, nobody goes anywhere where they're not planning on going.
Right.
Nobody's on the street. Nobody's walking.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know if that's different.
Especially now with like
everybody's on the goddamn mask.
all this like pandemic stuff, because they're just like they're even more deliberate on where they're going, because they're like grocery store and get gas and throw my clothes and then incinerate when I get home.
What?
Take a shower immediately.
I interacted with another person. Oh my God. But the thing is, we have to find the people that don't buy in or
Throw my clothes
I
and then
just-
incinerate.
we're just sick of it. We really want interaction.
Well, I don't know. I think Will Truman, I told you, showed some videos from this guy who has that show, Valuetainment. What's his name?
I don't
Not
know.
his name, but he has a show, Valuetainment.
Valuetainment.
Yeah, and he's like an insurance broker guy. He has a lot of, I would consider him as part of the freedom movement. He had like a big, early on in the pandemic, whoever was Rashad Patar, who was one of these doctors that was all against everything, and the guy kept this forgot the value Tony was asking, but he kept asking Michelle, like, what's, like, Bill Gates, he's like the richest guy in the world, blah, blah, blah. What would be his motivation for you to do this? And the car did a pretty good job of dancing around those questions, but in the comments you could see like people putting like double emojis and like, duh, you don't know what the motivation is.
So you're saying
The
that,
motivation is this corrupt satanic religion, not,
I'm not a stupid.
like these superficial things that you're saying, like, oh, he's rich and powerful, and he doesn't need to do a move like this because he's already got all
Yeah,
the
he's
goodies,
he's just a minion. He's just a minion. I mean, they all signed up. When they said they wanted to be billionaires, they promised a third or half of their income to whoever, the banksters or whatever. And my white paint. And now they're just on a string. Like they're just. Oh, there it is. Yeah, they're just. Yeah, they could be thrown away at any moment, and they will. They all like, look, Jeffrey Epstein got tossed, although I'm sure he's still alive somewhere, doing his thing. He had to make connections, and they all need him. But they sacrificed him in the manner that he was doing it, so that they could, make it look like, oh, it was just him, just Jeffrey Epstein. He's the only one doing it.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just have to have that chair. I'm in the door. Oops. Yeah, I mean, Jeffrey Epstein, yeah, great. Jeffrey Epstein's nothing without his customers, and who are they? Them, all of them. The adrenochrome addicts. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that all that stuff is common knowledge. I'm not sure. I don't think that chick who was like trying to get me to say, oh yeah, we need to stop the spraying, really understood. The spraying is just one aspect of how to kill humanity. So, but maybe we should talk about positive stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about positive stuff. I like positive stuff.
So we got the pyramid. Well, yeah, so yeah, like that just reminds me, it's interesting because that's what reminds me of that guy, John Stewart Reed, that Andy Kaufman's gonna have on a webinar.
Right.
Next week, who, is one of many, I'm sure, but who discovered the healing powers of the pyramid sound and made it some kind of machine that replicates the pyramid sound.
Right.
I don't really know that much about it, honestly, because
Yeah, allegedly these pyramids, and there's all these like stone circles too, like in Africa, over 1 million of them actually. They're like ancient stone circles, and all the stones in these stone circles, if you pick them up and you knock them against each other, they ring like bells.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they get these
Are
like
they hollow?
electromagnetic readings. No, they're solid. Like if you take one of those electromagnetic reading devices in there in the middle of these stone circles, they go wild. Like there's something going on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And like actually you can create electricity from sound. And that's why most microphones you don't have to plug them in from the work, because your vibrations going through the microphone actually powers the microphone.
What?
Yeah, in some cases. Some of the more powerful high-end ones, you do have to have a power source for them to help, amplify stuff. But yeah, there's like the microphone, like sound, you can create electricity using sound. Which is pretty fascinating. So, right.
Oh, yeah, no, it's truly.
And so they were like, even this, I think this was some of Michael Tellinger's stuff. He was talking about how like the Colosseum in Rome, he thought they were using as a way to create electricity. So you get all the people in the Colosseum and there's an event going on and they're all screaming and yelling and cheering and stuff. And then they're like, he saw, he's like, connections with like all the like, because right near the Colosseum there's like a bunch of different structures and stuff, and he was like, yeah, I think that they were like channeling that, or they were funneling all the noise from the Colosseum through these other structures and creating power using the sound.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And if you look at some of those like Greek sites like that, like from the air, like some of that stuff actually like literally looks like circuitry on a circuit board. But they're like stone, like megalithic, or not necessarily megalithic, but like large stone, like the Parthenon and stuff like that. Yeah, so, that's interesting. Well, even Judith in her talk was talking about the word and going back to the beginning of the Bible where it talks about the word
Right.
of God, which manifests all that there is, allegedly,
Oh, yeah, no, I believe that.
And the whole cymatics and that stuff. There's even like a story, I think it was in one of Graham Hancock's books, where he's talking about the native people, where there's like these ancient stories that talk about like the building of some, I can't remember which megalith, maybe it was the Easter Islands heads, and that they said that the mighty ones played their trumpets and the rocks danced down the mountain. In one of the stories.
Yeah.
Talks about, like the mighty ones played their trumpets and the stones just danced down the mountainside. And fell into place. And then have you heard about that thing in Florida, Coral Castle?
No.
This dude, like, I think he was Lithuanian or something. Immigrant came, and this was like
Well, maybe
a long time ago. I think so, yeah. But he built this whole like coral castle for his wife that was still in Lithuania as like a gift to try to get her to come to the United States. I don't think it worked, but like he built the whole thing himself, and like no one knows how he did it. And allegedly he had these ice cream cone things that he was pointing at the stones and moving them with it.
What?
Yeah. And even like the guys, like
I have heard of it.
the trucks that came to like take all the stones that he got out, they said they just came and they parked, and he's like, yeah, just come back this afternoon and these trailers will be full. And like they did, and they're like, they came back and they're full, and they're like, I don't know how this guy got these things on there. I guess he was kind of secretive about how he built it.
That's so weird.
And there's like this, there was like a revolving door that, of course, tourists since then broke. They still haven't figured out how to fix it. There's like this massive like coral stone, probably weighs like 5,000 pounds. But you could like, when it was like in its prime, like you could literally just push it and it would revolve around and you could go in. But now like it broke and so much, but they can't fix it to where the revolving door works anymore.
They can't figure out how he.
Yeah, they don't know. It's like a mystery. They don't know how he built it. I mean, there's
Well,
some.
that's interesting. I wonder
There's
how-
a story of some kids who apparently saw him with like these ice cream cone looking things that he was using to remove the stones
How do
around.
you know about this?
Huh?
How does this guy know about this?
But I think it's like some kind of sonar technology that he was using, like this sound kind of technology.
Yeah, I think I have heard of that guy. And then, well, what about that guy right here in Colorado in Rye, Colorado, who built that castle? You know that guy?
I haven't heard about
Well,
that
he's
one.
down south, below Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
What's it called? It's amazing. It's an amazing castle. And the guy is like very anti-government. He has all these government big posters, big things that say
Mhm,
things about, the truth.
mhm.
What's his name? I did a whole thing on him a while back.
Yes.
But it's pretty amazing. It has a big dragon on it. He built it all himself.
That sounds pretty cool.
It's huge.
These guys do that. Awesome. It's not getting shared.
Probably. It's huge. Remember his name right now.
That's pretty interesting. And there was some dude like long time ago, I can't remember the details on any of this stuff, of course, but and he took supposedly, allegedly, he took insect wings, he like glued them to the bottom of this plate, and then he sent like a frequency through the insect wings, and he made like a hovering device that you could fly on.
What?
It basically just looked like a square piece of wood with handlebars on it, and then he poked this button, and it started the frequency, and and he'd like hover around. Yeah. and apparently, like, that's how dragonflies fly or something. Like, they don't actually flap their wings. It's just like this vibrate. They just vibrate them, and then it creates like this anti-gravity effect, and that lifts them off the ground
I
allegedly.
just don't want us to know this shit, because then we would need petroleum.
Of course, that was like heavily suppressed. So
Oh, yeah,
got
yeah.
killed or something.
Probably.
Died or somehow in some tragic accident, you know.
Yeah, the tragic accident called. I got the wrong people to see what I was doing.
Yeah. I invented something cool and I started sharing it, and that's when the tragedy happened. Unfortunately. But yeah, no, it was pretty cool. Like, so I was like, hey, that's pretty neat. I wonder if we could like reproduce that somehow.
Yeah, and then we would be killed too.
Like, I wish I was just like independently wealthy. I'd start like doing all these weird experiments and stuff, like building like cool like art, like kinetic like experiment things, you know, see if some of the stuff really works, you know. Yeah, some of that stuff would be cool because I was like really fascinated with like how sound like you can create energy using like electricity through sound. Like, that's just fascinating, you know.
the thing is, that's unfortunate is that you need money to do it.
Oh, yeah. But you need money to buy all the equipment to make all the things or do the things. That's why I was like, oh, if we're financially independent, I'd be doing all kinds of cool experiments and stuff. But I'm not, so. I continue to, live my life, the day to day. Everything seems to be rolling smoothly this time. Don't see any hiccups in the feed.
It's just so weird. I wish I could figure out if I actually had a part in Kurt cleaning the house. Boy, 'cause that manifestation, that was huge. That was when did we go down to Pueblo? It was only like 2 months ago.
That wasn't that long ago.
And I'm like, oh, I'm figuring out that, I'm telling you, oh, I'm gonna try this thing that's impossible. And now it's done. It's freaking almost done. And I'm just like, wow, what did I do? What did I do here?
Right.
I want to say I didn't do it, right?
Right.
But I just think that's not correct. Because I stood around talking about it for years. I talked about how bad it was and how I wanted it to be different. And then finally one day, I don't know what, I read something or I thought, well, I'm just going to draw this picture. And it was just it wasn't very detailed either. And now it's clean. The house is clean.
That's awesome.
Or cleaner, but God, it's on its way. I mean, I can definitely keep it clean and continue it. Now and
Continuous.
yeah, I mean, we still got a pile to go through that I can't do anything about, but I can definitely take over once he finishes that.
Right.
And so I'm like, what the heck? I gotta find out what exactly happened here because this is amazing.
That's awesome.
I mean, yeah, see, the sound thing is great, except that I'm not a sound artist. I don't do sound.
Right.
So what is it that I can do?
Well, I think the art thing is a pathway in there for sure. I think we should get some black gesso.
Oh, what a great idea for the next band.
Yeah, because I was listening to that Judith, and she was talking about how you're like using that black paper with the colored pencils is like kind of like taking drawing the light out of nothingness, like black is kind of to her was like the void of nothingness. And so like when you're bringing the light of color onto that void, you're like, it's kind of like that creation manifestation process happening, I thought it was kind of interesting.
But we can just get flat black paint.
Yeah, I know they sell black gesso. They definitely sell that. But yeah, we could even just get flat black paint would work too. I thought that would be cool to like
black gesso cost, but we can look
maybe.
into it.
I just thought it'd be cool to like try that out.
That would be good. Yeah, I used to use that all the time. I used to use black paper.
Oh yeah, I love painting and on colored or black paper. A lot of fun.
But yeah, sure. We can definitely do that.
That would be a good thing to do. Do some mandalas or something.
Well, we could just do another one of these.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool. I'm enjoying it. I mean,
back.
Huh?
It's better.
Thirsty?
Yeah, it was. Parched.
I think I should do another experiment. It smells so good. You're getting there.
Other thing that I thought we could do too is just start doing paintings of like what we would envision of our ideal world being somehow, and that might be a good thing to do paintings of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just thinking, what could I do to test this again, like to test the power of this manifestation thing? I mean,
Right.
yeah, I have that picture of us, but
There's that I should do. I've been slacking. I need to do one of those as well.
but I feel like that might be a little bit more nebulous than something solid like getting the house clean. So I was thinking maybe I could come up with something else like that.
Right.
Because that would be a good class to teach manifestation,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a real thing.
I think it is, but I think there's some rules. I think that because there's that thing in that book called Real Magic
Oh yeah.
I was telling you about, where they talk about reality inertia. And I think that's where like having like more people, if it positively affects more people in a positive light, then it will work easier than if it's not,
Well, how did that, I mean, unless people are gonna start coming over to our house, what,
Yeah.
how does
So
that,
it's confusing.
I'm not sure that's, no, about that, I have to read that Real Magic book.
Yeah, I have to like retouch on that subject as well, just to fully understand it a little better. Yeah. But I think that's partly why, like when they feed people stuff in the mainstream media, they understand that, so that they know if they get enough people believing what they're saying, then it's more likely to pop up. Because like that, concept of when you have more than one battery, it's like the power's more. So it's like you have mass amounts of people believing in something, then it's gonna pop up.
Right, no,
Versus if there's only one singular person.
right, but I mean, but that
could still work.
flies in the face of, I literally painted did a stupid drawing of the house being messy, being clean, and within 2 months, it's clean.
Yeah, but it benefits both of you guys too.
Right,
And it's a
right, I
small,
know.
if there's not that many factors, because that's a small scale thing, right? So the only two people it's really affecting is you and Kurt and the dogs, which are probably a part of it too. And they probably like having a cleaner space to be in as well, you know? And so, because whether Kurt knows it or not, it's actually the fact that he's cleaning that stuff that's making his life better too.
Oh, I know. He doesn't feel it right now, but I told him he will feel it.
And so so that's why probably why that drawing works so well, because you know there's a thing that's not like trying to, you know, sway the tables of like the whole reality itself. It's just like a smaller, you know, fraction of it, you know, you and Kurt and the dogs, you know. So yeah.
I understand, and I mean, I've been doing sigils now since 2016, and but this is kind of a more advanced. I didn't use a sigil in this.
No.
I just did the drawing
Mhm.
itself, and I didn't even do that detail of the drawing either.
Yeah.
So I just want to try to get a hold of that, because I think that would probably attract people. People want that. People want this. You know, they want superpowers.
Oh yeah.
That's what we all want.
Well, there was something in like a grading interview I heard recently where he was talking about, can't remember who said it, but someone said that like nature doesn't over endow like species. And he's like, well, based off of the science that's the new science that's coming out, the human species is definitely was over endowed.
What do you mean?
Just in like,
we shouldn't have been so damn smart?
no, just that like, according to, I can't remember what scientists say he mentioned that claimed that there's a quote, famous quote from the scientist saying like that nature doesn't over endow anything. But then like now there's stuff coming out that shows that well actually humans are over endowed.
What does that mean exactly? Over endowed how? Like,
well, the fact that according to him we are in control of our own health, and we can trigger through meditation and through our thoughts healing within our own bodies. And we're the only species that they know of that can do that. That can self-regulate their
is that really
bodies,
true?
their health through intent.
Well, I guess so, because you don't see animals trying to hurt themselves by eating poison.
Right.
But I don't know that. I mean, I would look at that like it's not necessarily
Fully true. Yeah. No,
because animals aren't stupid enough to try and kill themselves. It's just like they wouldn't kill off their environment.
But he also talks about the fact of like how like of like rise in drug use and stuff, and he talks about that like if you understand, it's like if you understand what I understand about humanity and what we are, then you wouldn't put these poisons into your body because you would realize your body is your temple.
That's not true, no, because if you're in that much psychic pain, you're going to do whatever you have to do to alter your body so that you're not in that psychic pain. If you can't even get up and go outside because you're in psychic pain, you're going to use whatever you have to use. And to the observer, it doesn't make sense, but you're in psychic pain and you find something that's going to solve that problem. Believe me.
Well, I think he was a little insensitive to that.
They just don't understand that. People who have not ever experienced that, really, they don't have a clue what they're talking about, honestly.
And I don't think he understands that aspect of it.
You know, that's why we have free will.
Because we
have to solve that problem. Like if you're in that much psychic pain, to not even be able to go outside, and even if people can't see it, why? They think, oh yeah, that person has so many opportunities. Why are they like destroying their life? Well, because they're in so much psychic pain that they
Yeah, it's
have to do something.
internal pain, like
So yeah, that's
these kids that are adopted, and they fantasize about who their birth parents are, that's like a form of like trauma and psychic pain.
Yeah.
You're talking about
Thank
that could lead to, drug addiction problems.
there's all sorts of reasons why.
Oh yeah.
All sorts of reasons. I mean, but yeah, I mean that's just people just don't understand that. People who are not have never been in that situation.
Right. No, I agree.
But that, I mean, I just don't. I just don't think there's any way to show animals ever destroying their own environment. There's animals aren't that stupid. They wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I think this is more of just like something in our genetic makeup. Like he explains it with like the chromosomes and like our, what is it, like it's one of the things that makes us different from pretty much all the animals, and it's something with like the 21st chromosome has like this something or other about it that gives us the ability to trigger our own, which is totally occulted because the mainstream science hasn't accepted that, oh, we can trigger our
Oh
own
no,
healing.
they would never do that because then we wouldn't need to have petroleum product medications done.
Yeah, or like, yeah, exactly.
No.
And so and it's a lot of these guys are like coming up against like these, powerful scientists, if it were, that are clinging to their theories. And if their theory, they think it's like their ego's getting in the way. They're like, this is my theory that I've worked on for like my whole life. And so, but you guys just proved it wrong. So I'm going to trash you guys because my theory is right and you guys are wrong, even though all the facts are pointing to your theory being incorrect. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think that's probably
And
true.
it's like there's this hierarchy within science that, if you challenge it, then you might have resistance, And even like Graham Hancock in like his latest book, he like goes through that. He's like, here's like this speech I did, and like all these like letters came in from this scientist like trashing me and like how I shouldn't be saying this blasphemous stuff, and people like, oh, like this is totally like, you can't do that, basically like complaining. And then he would write back with like a very like, well thought and written statement, explaining like his side of the story. And usually he wouldn't get a response after that again because this is the guy to shut people up. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, well, I guess that's probably because our whole world is run on polarized people.
Yeah, polarizing people. People polarized. I should come up with a superhero, the polarizer. Or no, super villain, right?
No, yeah, no,
Polarizer.
it's gotta be the opposite,
Yeah.
like the balancer.
Yeah. The great hermetic practice of transmutation to balance your polarities.
Maybe I should switch.
What's that? Stay tuned and we'll find out. You know the law, it's a law, it's called polarity. All things have its positive and its negative.
Take a moment here. I have to pause. I have to switch hands. I have to.
Oh, 7:13. Oh,
Wow.
time's just flying by, isn't it? Time just be flying by. So far, I haven't noticed any hiccups in our feed this week. Maybe it had to do with that Wi-Fi issue I noticed earlier.
Maybe so.
That's the only exclamation I can think of.
I guess I'll just go back to what I was doing because
Yeah, it was funny. I was watching some of the video from last week, and at one point you're on the floor, and like you couldn't really see you, but every once in a while you could just see this hand like poke up. And, like, start painting.
Really?
Yeah, it's
I was
awesome.
on the floor.
Like I just started cracking up because I was just like looking at it, like it's kind of nothing was going on for like a few seconds, and all of a sudden this hand like pops up. It's like,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
that's cool.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to what I was doing before because I don't like. So did you guys do anything for New Year's?
We went to like a nice restaurant, had a meal. We had grandma watch our kids, and then we went to this.
Where'd you go?
There's some new, I can't remember what it's called. It's like an Italian restaurant in town.
Is it in Denver?
No, it's in Aberdeen.
Oh, neat.
It's like a new Italian place.
Is it good?
That was good. I had this like portobello mushroom, like marsala stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Very nice. Yeah, Kurt and I went. Well, our anniversary is December 30th.
Oh wow.
We went
Congratulations.
to that Montana Grill
Oh, okay.
because we're eating meat now. Well, he always has eaten meat.
Right, but you are now.
Yep. I had fish.
You have fish. Haven't gone to the full-on beef yet.
No, he gave me some of it, but I'm afraid of it because I used to eat meat almost every day.
I used to be like a extreme meataholic.
Yeah, me too.
Like
Meat every day. I had to have steak every day.
I was like literally probably like
Is that before Pasio?
Oh, probably, yeah. Maybe even during Pasio some too, because that kind of took me, that's the longest, the thing of his teachings that took me the longest to adopt.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I always avoided that section of his work for a long time, and then I went to it and I was like, you know what, this actually kind of makes sense. But meat tastes really good.
Yep.
So it's
I don't know. It's very weird. I mean, I was vegan for a whole year, so I don't really know. It's just weird. And then I just had this thing. It just wouldn't stop. So I'm like, all right, fine. I guess I'm supposed to have it. I don't know.
Right?
I don't know. I just am like, well, I did it.
Can't fight it.
I've been fighting. I fought it for like several months.
Yeah, I had like a binge of eating meat here over the holiday season. Like I had like a fried chicken salad a couple of weeks or two ago. Like, what's this place that like they do really good fried chicken?
Where's that?
It's in Evergreen. Called Revival Foods. But they, it's just like really clean tasting, like fried chicken.
Dude, I'm right there with you. I mean, I've been eating chicken and fish for like.
So yeah, it's
I
so fish. I'm a lot less. I've been eating that more than that's probably the meat I eat the most at this point.
And it's probably super poisonous too, but I don't care. I don't know. I have RH negative blood, so
I'm not sure if I do or not. So that's
the thing about it. It's like, well, I don't really understand. I don't know what to say. I thought I was going to be vegan forever. I really did, until that craving shit came up.
Popped out.
Oh my god! I was like, and people, I'm like, well, there's nobody I can ask about this because everybody's gonna have their dang opinion. There's no real facts to go on here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I agree with the cruelty thing.
Oh, for sure. The least harm possible principle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one though. I mean, I think about it all the time with my kids. I'm like, so we get our kids addicted to all this crap food, and then when they get older, they have to wean themselves off of their crap food addictions. You know, I find myself doing that to this day. Like, oh, like that bag of Cheetos is just screaming at me off the shelf to eat it. You know, it's like,
Oh, yeah, Cheetos.
Hmm?
Well, unfortunately, they have Barbara's baked Cheetos, which taste better than Cheetos. Yeah, I know. We're all addicted to it. I know. I mean, Kurt, he does. He eats such shit. And he'll say, I know I need to change my diet. And it's just like, but not today. Today's not going to be the day.
Right.
I'm like, oh my God. But then again, I know this guy, one of my close friend of mine, who's 80 something years old, and he eats just horribly. He eats like Jimmy John's, something or other for breakfast. He was eating a Stouffer's baked meal the other day when I called him. I'm like, oh God. But he's 80 something, right? And he's very healthy.
Well, some of it is like your perception of it too. Like,
yeah, I just pray to him, pray about it. When I see him eating that stuff, I just go, oh, it's manna. I don't know. I don't know about anything.
right.
Now, I've been being vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, tried that. That's over with. I really thought it was going to be the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I guess not.
Yeah, it's weird for me because I have like stages. Like for me, I had less trouble quitting smoking cigarettes than actually quitting eating meat.
Oh yeah.
That was
I
way
used to smoke
easy
cigarettes.
compared to quitting eating meat.
Yeah, cigarettes. Yeah.
That was super, like that was like easy. I was just like, "Eh." I just like smoked less and less every day, and then eventually I just stopped.
Oh, that's how I did it too.
Yeah, I never did no patches or no.
Oh, that never would have worked.
That never works because it's mental. I figured out that it's mental. I said, guess what? This is a mental addiction, and all I have to do is, and it took like probably 3 months of like every time I'd see someone smoking a cigarette, I'd have a craving for a cigarette. But then I would just say, in my head, I would say, I'm just having this craving because I see it. And as soon as it's gone, I will no longer have the craving. And as soon as the people weren't smoking anymore, or like or it wasn't in front of me anymore, the craving was gone. It was only when I saw people doing it, or even like in a movie, like if someone lit up a cigarette, like, ooh, cigarette. You know. But then I like mentally, I had like the mindfulness to just tell myself no. Like, no, just wait 5 minutes, they'll be done with it, and you won't be thinking about it anymore, and you won't have the craving. Sure enough, it worked just like that. That's how I quit.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But it was that mental toughness. You know, without that mental toughness and reminding myself every time, then I wouldn't have been able to do it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's even before I knew about like hermetics, like the hermetic principles and those laws, you know, of transmutation and at how everything is all mind, you know, it's all mind. It's all in the mind.
Right.
Just like all the problems we face right now, it's all in the mind. It's all mental. The mind of the creation that we are in. That makes sense. The mind of God.
Yeah, I don't really understand that though. Do you really understand that?
The mind of God.
Mind of the creation. Like, I mean, how is, I don't know.
I don't think we can understand it.
Oh, because we're like flies on the
Because
TV
we have
screen.
our awareness is too dim. Yeah, we're
we're
like,
like ants on a TV screen.
yeah, or we're like our microbacteria in our gut flora. We don't have access to the, you know, they don't have access to anything other than inside of our gut and what comes into our gut.
What? What are you saying? Huh?
Our gut flora, you know, the little
Yeah.
microbiologies that live in our gut.
Yeah.
They don't, you know,
They don't know that they're
like they don't know that the fact that I got a haircut changed made their lives better, you know, and how that works
How?
is,
How did that make their lives better?
well, I got a haircut, and so then I was able to get a girlfriend that cooked good food, and so my gut flora benefited from it. But they didn't know it was because I got a haircut and a girlfriend. They just know better stuff's coming down the pipe. You know?
God, that's funny.
It's kind of like the same with us. It's like we know that if the sun burns out, we're dead meat, but we don't know why the sun keeps shining. We don't know very little about it. We think we know a lot about it, but we barely scratch the surface, you know.
Well, we just change our mind constantly. It's always a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the new thing,
What's the new theory?
you know. Like I'll try this pyramid thing to see if it works.
Well, and some of it too is like
Oh no.
it's all right. This probably wasn't important enough.
That's good. Yeah, I'll try the pyramid thing out. Some of the things actually have worked. Sigils work.
Oh, I saw something was like basically like we are God experiencing himself. And
That's
so
a
like
nice idea.
what?
Yeah, that's a nice idea. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Or it's like another thing was like that we're all like every human soul is actually only one soul. And we're this is like a school and we're learning how to get along with ourselves. So it's like any harm we commit to another person, we're actually committing to ourselves at a soul level,
Yeah.
according to that theory.
I would go along with that one. I would go along with that theory.
Right? Well, it kind of makes sense because it's kind of like that whole aggregate, like karma's kind of judged on the aggregate level, not on the individual level.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what this is about then.
Yeah, that's like Mark talks about that a lot, where he's like, just because like one group of people believes in authority and then now that and supports the authority, so there's this authority that drags all the rest of us underneath that umbrella of authority.
Right, but I've experienced karma, like, or whatever, like I've experienced reaping what I sow.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think there's a balance there. There's a group aspect and the individual aspect of it, in my eyes.
Right, that's true what Mark said. I mean, I thought he said that there was a way that we could sort of not be affected by it, but that's obviously not. Well, we are. Yeah, that's the experience. I mean, you can kind of skate by.
To a certain extent, you
But
can.
you're totally affected by this.
Until someone kicks your car and says that you hit and ran them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when you're like dragged down into it.
Right, exactly.
Against your will.
Exactly. I was just talking with my friend about that today, and I think the lesson with that is that you just can't really stand up to bullies anymore. Things have gotten so corrupt now. Things are so corrupt now. You just can't stand up to bullies.
You'll get in trouble. They'll pin you with whatever, assault, disorderly conduct, whatever they want.
That's exactly what's going on. That's what that was.
And so that's what that's how the elite use the police, as their guard dogs, is because they're, if they have someone who's like standing up, because they're the bullies, right? And so if they have someone standing up to them, then guess what? They're gonna call the guard dogs, and the guard dogs are gonna pin you with like some assault charge or like a disorderly conduct, whatever, if they feel that they can get away with pinning you with.
Yep. But let's get back to this idea of art.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? Maybe I'll come up with some other simple thing to try to manifest, just so I can figure out what I could.
Yeah, something simple to experiment with, like that's doesn't have as much of an effect on like mass amounts of people. I think it's easier to see
Because that would be a good class to say, manifest using art. We could get a bunch of artists that way.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of other places saying, oh, this is how you can manifest. Through meditation or through any other number of things. Yeah, I was just thinking like if we started doing just paintings of like what we our ideal, you know, society would look
Well,
like.
how would we do that?
Um,
Would
That's what
that
I'm
be
trying to
like
figure out.
people running through daisy fields of daisies happily? Or?
Maybe. It might be. Or maybe it's just a picture of people holding hands, like a bunch of different ethnicities and age groups, and or maybe they're in nature, or maybe it's just like a painting of like some gardeners, futuristic gardeners, like in there taking care of the planet, you know, I don't know. Something, right? Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe it's like just doing, like I was thinking I should do a picture of like some school children just like sitting in the classroom with no masks on,
Yeah,
you know?
right.
I'm kind of like thinking about that a little bit because my son turns 3 on the 10th of this month. And the magic number, when you turn the magic 3, you have to diaper off your face, according to the nonsense out there. Yeah, it's just so idiotic. So one day you're not 3, so you're good, and then the next day you are 3, so all of a sudden you have to diaper off. Doesn't make any sense.
No, it's really not.
There's no logic there. Where's the logic? You know?
No, it's really bad.
So then it's like if I could find some doctor that can give him the medical exemption, is he gonna be like, is his medical history gonna be flawed for like the rest of his life, saying that he's like an asthmatic, you know, really isn't, you know?
Or will we get bullied in school?
Yeah. So, well, it's weird because half his class, you know, wasn't 3, and then each kid just starts clicking over to 3, and so all of a sudden, like, you know, because I went in there earlier this year, and I'm like, why is that kid having mask on and none of the other kids?
Oh my
Oh, because he's
God.
3 years old. That's
Oh
why.
my God. This
Yeah.
is so ridiculous.
Exactly. See what I see the
Oh my
nonsense? It's like
God. Oh my
the magic number 3. All of a sudden, these kids.
The COVIDs are jumping on you once you're 3. They don't jump on you until then.
No,
And they don't jump on you when you're in the restaurant after you sit down.
no, they don't. And for some reason, like I was watching like part of the ball drop thing or whatever.
Oh
the other
God.
night,
God bless you.
and I was like, for some reason, all these people that are talking and part of the TV crew, none of them have.
Oh, they weren't?
None of them have the face diapers on, but guess what? Who all has to wear them? All the spectators.
Oh God.
You know, hanging out in the crowd.
Oh God. Oh God.
Whereas like I was was watching a little bit of football again yesterday, and all the like, they were like, usually on the New Year, they do like some of the crew, like they show like kind of the back scenes of what goes on. And, you know, the crew members are like, hey, like Happy New Year. All those people have their diapers on, but none of the like coaches or none of the athletes on the field or like half the personnel out on the actual field have nothing. None of the people in the crowd have stuff on. But for some reason, these like guys in the broadcast booth, like pulling the switches up and down and, you know, stuff. For some reason, they have to have it. For some reason, this cameraman has to have it on, but like this coach right here doesn't. But then like the announcers are like, whoa, like half the Bronco, like 16 Broncos landed on the COVID list this week. So they're using a lot of second and third string players. Doesn't make no sense.
It's insane.
I guess their justification, oh, well, they were all tested negative, so they're allowed to go out there. The ones that tested positive. So that's cool.
Yeah, that'd probably be right. You could just do pictures of people standing close together without masks on.
Yeah, in situations where they're supposed to have.
Well, all situations. Right?
Well, yeah,
I mean, I was
the grocery store
watching.
says you're supposed to wear it.
I was watching my favorite show, but I'm telling anybody that I like, which is Project Runway. I think I told you.
Right.
And they and all the people on the show were not wearing masks, but all the servants were all wearing masks. Except I noticed that not all of them were wearing masks. And then I started wondering if they were just it was by choice that some of them were wearing them.
So I noticed that in the crowd on the ball
Like
drop too.
there's a bunch of idiots out there who believe in this stupid shit.
The more I watched the ball drop too, the more hand shots they did of the crowd, and I was like, oh wait a minute, there's like a whole cluster of people that don't have face coverings on, you know. Oh, there's another cluster. Oh, good. It's not just
Yeah, so it's like it's not a have to. It's like these are the fools who have bought in.
Well, didn't you say that the other day that like a mandate is actually doesn't mean you actually have to do
Yeah,
it. It just means it's a strong.
Yeah, but they can still force
advice.
you to do it. Like they can still, because they have guns and you don't.
Right.
They can say we don't want you here. But that ball drop was outside. See, I didn't want to know. That's why I didn't watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh God. No, I don't want to see this. Right,
We watched about 10 seconds of it. Like maybe
I never
20
made
minutes.
it to Times Square. I was always intending to get there, but I would never get there.
Me and my roommate went down there one year. We didn't make it actually to Times Square because it's too crowded until after, like, you know, an hour after and all the crowds had cleared out. We went and looked at all the mountains of trash all over the place.
Oh, yeah. Right, they leave it. So
That's the whole place is trash after that.
right, yeah, whatever.
Like
yeah.
literally, there was
Sure.
or I went to the hot dog eating contest in Coney Island once too, and like. And then there was like a concert or something too. And then like we were leaving that night and there's like you know how they have all those like green trash cans everywhere in New York City? Well, they had like there was one of those and like you could only see like one like little part of the trash can and then it was just like a mountain of trash like buried in the trash can. And I'm like, well, these people put it in the right spot.
Near the trash can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the trash can was so full that you couldn't put anything in it. And so it was like completely like a mountain. You could barely, I guess there is a trash can here. But then there was trash all over the ground everywhere too. So it wasn't like, it was just weird.
Oh yeah, no, but that's that thing of you know, leave it better than you found it.
Yeah, it's like that
Thing where
that thing that they teach Boy Scouts.
we don't ever learn.
Scouts honor you. you know, when you camp at a campsite, you leave it just as pristine, if not more pristine than when you found it, you know, kind of thing. Or like that's like what you're supposed to do when you like borrow something from someone. You're supposed to give it back in either the same or better condition than you got it in,
Wow,
you know.
wow.
Like I just borrowed this thing from someone and I noticed it had like some dirt on it, so I cleaned it off.
Wow.
Yeah, most people have probably those ideals. I'm sure you've noticed.
Yep. It's right time, yeah.
As a parent, it's frustrating.
I bet I would, I don't envy
It just
you.
makes me sick sometimes. Think about, or maybe I'm just like overthinking it and I'm like too much in my head. But I don't know.
No, I think you're not. I mean, but you did, I guess I would pray at that point. I'd be like, God, you have to fix this. Or you, this is, I can't,
Do more of that.
you have to do that. Like, that's where, to me, it's like, oh my God, like, I just would have to
We need to,
rather than,
more people need to say that. Oh God, we need to put an end to this nonsensical.
well, but only, there's only me. I'm the only one that can do it. That's what I would do, because when I feel like that kind of stuff, I'm just like, oh, there's nothing you can do about it. It's happening. So
Mhm.
just pray. Like that's what I try to do with any negative. And after I've thought it all out and talked about it and everything, then I just go, okay, God, this is beyond me.
Right.
And because otherwise, I don't want to put a negative out in the universe to last.
Right. Yeah. You
I
don't
don't
want
want to put a negative out there. I mean, that's what, if I watch any of,
you don't want to lash out and make yourself look like a clown, even though you're trying to do something.
well, I don't want to do what Mark, you know, I love Mark, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to, and I don't, and Richard, like, they'll put that stuff out there, but it's like, now you have to say something like, okay, unseen forces, help,
Mhm.
SOS, you know, because what the hell are we gonna do? I mean, I'm gonna do what I can do, but like you said, like on the whole, how much is that gonna actually?
Well, it's tricky too, because it's like part of me wants to just like keep my kid at home because so he doesn't have to do that. But then he wants to go to school. He likes his friend. He likes hanging out with his friends, you know. You know, even the other day he's like, school today? I'm like, no. He's like, oh. He likes playing with his friends, you know.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense.
I mean, those are his peers, the
adaptive.
other 2/3-year-olds, you know. It's just
Oops,
a
I just freaking,
tough time to be a parent right now.
oh, I just can't imagine it. Honestly, I just cannot imagine it.
It's not like I planned, like, you know, oh, I'm gonna bring some kids into this world so they can be born into all this bullshit like I was. No. I was like, you know, my kids are like my masterpieces that I created these badass little humans, you know. They're awesome. They're amazing. Like gifts of sacred gifts. They are. You know? Maybe I'm too much like the powers that be. I want too much control over stuff, and I need to just let go of the control.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. You're a parent right now. You're raising them. You have to raise them. Come on now. You do
Right?
have to raise them. Yep.
Yeah,
You do have to do that.
you're right. I have to raise
That's
them.
what, you know, you have to
I
raise
like
them.
doing that though. I'm like a hands-on dad, you know, like way more hands-on than a lot of dads I know.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
or I don't know. Maybe I just
Dads, you know, really? The dads, you know, aren't as hands-on. It's just
Think so,
surprising
yeah.
to me that you would know
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, like I've noticed, like just like
hands-on.
just not like or just going to like these like birthday parties of my daughter over the last couple of years. It's like it's almost always the moms are always there.
That's true.
And then the dads are, who knows where the dads are. I'm not saying that there's not an occasion where the dads are there. It happens, you know. There's a lot of like hands-on dads out there for sure. I'm not saying there isn't. When I say hands-on dads, I don't mean in a bad way.
Oh, God. I can't believe you said that.
I mean in a good way. Like I like to hang out with my kids and teach them how to do stuff and draw pictures. Sophie did a really cool intuitive flower picture. I don't know if I sent it to you. It's like she just like did this scribble thing and she's like, that looks like a flower, put a stem.
Oh,
on
that's
it.
so
She's
cool.
like, Daddy, look, I drew a flower. I was like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, you should send it to me.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, I think we got a few more sessions with this painting.
For
It's
sure.
gonna be done.
I was like, oh yeah, we'll knock this out today. Yeah. Right.
Look, it doesn't really look like we did that much, honestly. We did do green.
Yeah. I did a lot of green today. I think you did too. For some reason we were feeling green today.
Well, I just didn't want any more pink. I started to put more pink on. I'm like,
But
no.
that's because like yeah, last week I pretty much that's all I painted is pink. So
No, it's fine. I like the pink. I just didn't want to do any more.
yeah,
Pink. I want to do the opposite.
me too. That must be why we were both painting so much green today. We're like, oh, it's too much pink. Now it's like, now it's finally balanced. We have to pick a new color.
Right.
Like not enough purple.
It's pretty cool. I mean, if only I could just stand up like you can all this time. I mean, I have to sit down, but I can't.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just because like every single job I've had, except for one since college, have been jobs I've had to stand the whole day. There's only been
Oh,
one.
yeah. Cool.
Yeah, every like just I've had a lot of jobs where I have to stand all the time, so it's kept me in standing shape.
Well, yeah, no, this is the sciatica situation. Although it's better, it seems to be getting better. Yeah, it's still. It's still. I can't stand up for long periods of time. Yeah, no, it looks good. I like it. I do like it. I like it. It's weird. I don't think I've ever done anything like this before.
Yeah, it's an interesting piece for sure. nice abstract, but then there are some kind of representational looking things in there as well. It was fun just doing the line part of it, you know.
Oh yeah, super fun. If we did a black gesso, I guess we could do it with chalk.
Yeah, or maybe just straight go with paint.
Or just jump onto it.
Yeah, I mean,
jump
you could start with chalk or a white colored pencil or something, for sure. For some reason, I want just like a bunch of purple and just start covering all the white. with
Purple, I think, yeah, I was thinking yellow, so, that's.
Or
nice.
yellow would be good.
Well,
too.
that's the opposite, so you could do purple, I just feel like there's a little bit of yellow in there.
Yeah, I just did some yellow and orange over in that spiral shell looking thing over there. I also did some blue green in there too.
Maybe I'll do yellow rays on that sun.
The sun or
I'll have to stand up.
or you mean the star thing on the right?
Yeah, in the middle, yeah, that thing.
Top right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be cool.
And then I will have to.
Like with the little wedge things.
Yeah.
Fill them in yellow around
Yeah.
those. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah, that would be neat. I don't know, it's an interesting piece, especially because of what we're asking for and the meditation and what's going on. It's kind of pretty interesting.
Well, I think it's kind of shows like that. Maybe it's kind of like showing that there's a lot of chaos out there in the world right now, and that we need to find some more kind of unity as a collective of humanity, you know, because there's all this bickering going on in all these different movements, you know, even the freedom movement, you said no one can get along, and it's like almost everything out there. It's like there's some sort of a wedge somewhere driving people apart from each other. Like,
yeah, people gossip. People are into gossiping.
Like, oh, I agree with everything, but they're vegetarian. What the heck? Oh my God. Or vice versa, I pretty much agree with everything that person agrees, except for they eat meat. So I can't, I don't know if I can.
Well, but there's actually more than that. There's there's just people that are just, you can tell that they're manipulating you and so you have to be super careful. Like you have to put your principles constantly first, and you're like, well, I feel like getting sucked into this and having an argument with this person, but I have a feeling that that's all they want is the argument. They're interested. They're not really present and paying attention to what we're actually doing. So they're
right.
It's just, this is an argument. I'm just going to get sucked into it, and I don't want to. Or I hear a person talk about like politics as if this is a political solution, and I know it's not going to work, but I'm like, I'm not going to convince this person of that, so why would I engage in that? So there's so in other words, people are not like being responsible for the inner monarchy much.
No, they're not. And
so those of us in the know about that just kind of go nod and then back away, because I don't want to create, because the groups could split apart based on the personality situation. The people who aren't aware of the importance of what we're doing, really, I mean, they are, but they don't understand why groups are constantly splitting apart.
And Stefan Verstappen, he addresses that issue with the need to have rituals and symbols that he says he's basically like having rituals and symbols. It's kind of like having glue that holds your group together. And
there's potluck. We have potlucks, but I mean, I just think
and he's like, a ritual could be something as simple as a potluck, or you sing a silly song around the fire every time you meet up, or that you have like a secret handshake, or the stuff like that seems kind of stupid and kind of cheesy in some ways, but actually is beneficial to like.
Right. But even with that, I mean, you still like, I just have to pay attention. Like, I almost got sucked into this whole thing with this woman on Telegram. She wanted to talk about climate change or this and that and the other, and I was just, she was the one about the spraying. She's like, oh, the spraying or whatever. And I started to go into it. Another friend of mine, like, sent me an email, Telegram message and said, I've never found that it works out well when I engage with her about her thing. Like, oh, you're right. So I just deleted my message. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna get into this. I must be tired or something.
Right.
I'm not paying attention. So I just deleted it. I was like, yeah, I don't need to do that. You know what I mean? I don't need to go down that road with that person. So.
Well, it's like I had like a thing on Facebook where like one of my friends like posted some video, right? And then it was like when I went to watch it, it had already been like censored and taken down. And it was like some doctor's video, right? And I just commented, I was just like, what's with all these doctors' videos getting like censored when they're like basically telling people to like take vitamin C and D and stuff. And they're getting like censored. And then this guy comes on and he's like, these videos are complete lies and they're censoring them to protect your rights. And I was like, and I just responded with, do you know what a right is? Can you define a right for me? Basically is all I said. And crickets. Couldn't do it. Because I was like, oh, since you know so much about rights, can you define what a right is? Nothing, got nothing back. Because he was like kind of starting to get nasty. Because I was like, hey, dude, like I was just.
Oh, he might have been controlled opposition. There are a lot of people troll. So we had a thing the other night at the in Longmont. We had this somebody had mentioned to me that they thought there was a mole in the group because the group is over 100 people. And I was like, really? Huh, interesting. And so we're at the coffee shop and we're talking about the food co-op thing. And the farmer was there. There was a farmer there who's gonna give his farm to that project.
Oh wow.
And this guy like raises his hand and he starts talking about the merit system, like how, you know, farmers should have, or we should all have a merit system about, you know, something. And it was like, wait a minute, this is social credit score. That's the mole.
Right.
It was amazing. It was like, wow, that's the mole. So we immediately shut the guy down because he was talking about like how we should all, you know, get points for being good people now or some crap.
Oh yeah, like so you have like a tally, like a currency, like I contributed, so I got these X amount of points. Where you didn't contribute, so you didn't get.
Yeah, that's what he was suggesting. I was like, no, we don't need competition here. That's the mole.
Right. And
so it's like, wow, these people are real. I mean, it's, you know, I've heard that Colorado, the government spent like several $1 million on propaganda. And this is part of it. This is part of the propaganda that they spent money on, was to have people show up at these groups and try to derail them. It's just hard to believe, you know, that this would be happening, but. And then how is this mentalism? I mean, I'm like, really? This is where I don't understand as a member of the Gut Flora clan, how I invited this kind of crap to come into my.
Right. Well, I suppose it's 8 o'clock, so we can wrap this thing up.
Call
if you
it.
like.
All right, I'm gonna do it because I want to take a picture of it. And then I have to. Thank you for joining us.
We'll do this after the live stream. We appreciate you joining us, and you can always go to drawingnaturebin.com to get more info or set up a console. We will be back next week, same time, same place, to add some more paint to this.